I mean, this was absolutely nuts. We had some really bad technical difficulties. So thankfully, Amy Welch stepped up and allowed us to host on her Zoom so that we could do this from her Zoom and still get the webinar out. But I'm really excited about tonight's webinar because I think that it's going to be fabulous for everybody on this team. Whether you're a wholesaler, whether you are a business building ambassador, anything in between, whether you're not even taking Plexus right now and you're just on this page and watching this, because it helps you in all facets of your life. I don't know about you guys, but I have definitely told myself some truths over the course of my life and created some identities that I'm not even sure are true, right? So I think a lot of us just have these thoughts and these viewpoints and they become reality in our life, and we don't even realize that we're doing these things. We don't even realize we're limiting ourselves or creating these identities that don't truly exist. And I'll give you guys an example, and Marion's going to get way more into this, but I'll give you guys an example. Just the phrase, "I am not a morning person." Like, how many of us have said that? And is that really true? If you sit back and you think about that, is that really true? And that line of thinking becomes a defining part of your life, and it really impacts a lot of things in your life. So from a Plexus perspective, saying things like, "I just can't lose weight," and repeating that over and over again, or "every diet I do fails," over and over again, or "I'm just not somebody that can do cardio," or, all those things, they become limiting beliefs. And so tonight, Marion's going to walk us through, and she's going to talk to us about the science behind a positive mindset and kind of how to help us reprogram ourselves to find success through positive thinking. So with all of that said, I'm going to kick it over to our resident expert, Marion, and she's going to take it from there.
Thank you, Sarah. Guys, I'm super, super excited. How are y'all on this Monday? It's actually really funny that Sarah was talking about these limiting beliefs, right? Because most of us think Mondays are bad days. And it's one of the things that I've intentionally rewired, and I love Mondays now because they're a fresh start, right? A new week, a way to begin again, right? And set some goals and push for awesome things and all of that. So, let me tell you why this call happened, or a little bit of history about, behind the scenes. I just coached a room full of startup CEOs a couple of weeks ago, and I actually did a specific training on visualization. This one's not going to be specific to visualization. I'm kind of like taking it back a step to the science. I'm going to talk a little bit about visualization, but I'm going to start with the science, because the first time someone ever brought this into my awareness, whenever people told me, "Oh, your thoughts create your reality, you're the creator of your reality, everything in front of you is your universe," I thought they were insane. I literally thought they were insane. Like, this is nuts. There's no way that just because I think something, it's going to come true, right? Like, no way. So anyway, that happened years ago. And then now I love teaching this concept because I'm very science-minded. My dad's a rocket scientist for NASA. My uncle works for CERN, specifically in the particle accelerator. So they talk a lot about quantum reality, quantum physics, parallel realities. They have proof and studies of atoms existing in two places at one time. And my mom's a nurse. I went to nursing school. So all of this science has always been primary in my learning process, right? I'm a science geek. I'm a math geek. When it comes to like history, don't ask me a single question because I have no idea, unless it's Louisiana history. I can tell you about that. Everything else, I don't know. But math and science are my jam. And spirituality has always been a very big like question mark for me. And when I was little, I went on this journey of exploring many different religions because I wanted to understand why people got into this space, right? So I explored Jehovah's Witness and Christian and Catholic and all of these things. And the one thing that I saw in common between all of them, well, there's two things, right? There's love and there's community. And these two things are very powerful. And we're going to talk a little bit about those two things throughout this training. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, since college, I have not done a single PowerPoint besides, well, okay, I've done 2 PowerPoints, and y'all have been blessed tonight with my PowerPoint. I was joking earlier, Sarah, in Amy's chat saying, well, since Sarah Taylor's hosting me, I feel like I have to do like a type A presentation. So I hope y'all enjoy my PowerPoint that I made. Usually when I do this, I teach on a whiteboard and I draw it out. I'm a very visual learner. So I do have some pictures included to kind of make things more understandable. And guys, I might get a little bit too sciencey and a little bit too geeky. So if you have some questions after, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm going to try to keep it as baseline as I can. I've actually been thinking about creating an entire series based around this because I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me about this. I go live on my Facebook often and I teach these things, and I also do this in person. When we had our last team retreat in the mansion in Arizona, I did a guided visualization and talked a little bit about this for 35 female entrepreneurs on our team. So it's really awesome for me to teach this because, like most of us were skeptical about our Plexus products, I was super skeptical about this belief system, these thought processes, these action steps, these things, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and screen share and I'll get started. I'm not gonna host disabled screen sharing. Okay.
Oh my goodness, Amy Welch.
There you go. All right.
All right, let me see if it'll work now. Yay, it's gonna work. Cool. Let me get out of here. And let me go back up here. How do I move this thing? Ah, it's in the way. Here, I'll just do this. From beginning. Okay, so can y'all see that okay? Thumbs up? Yep, okay, good. So welcome to Mastering Your Mindset. And like I said, guys, there's so much stuff to be said about this. I could probably have created 367 slides, but I kind of just grabbed the best knowledge and the most baseline knowledge, and we can continue a series of this later if we have to, but hopefully you can stay with me while we go through this, okay? So we're gonna talk about how positive thought processes not only rewire the physical structure of your brain, but also the biology of your body down to your cells. And we're going to talk about how emotions are related to the biology of your body and how emotions are important when you have a positive thought process practice in your life. And I'm going to break it down and tell you how that happens and then give you some recommendations, okay? So first I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. When, excuse me, I'm a tickle in my throat. When this first came into my reality, it was about 3.5 years ago when I was going through yoga teacher training, and I started experiencing things that I wasn't, well, not all, some of them I've experienced before, but some of them I haven't. So for instance, I've been practicing yoga since I was 18 years old. So like, I don't know what, 12 years now. But the meditation aspect of it and the literature that we read and understanding the minds of Buddhist monks and how they can control not only their reality, but their bodily functions. Like they can drop their heart rate to 2 beats per minute and survive. It's pretty incredible the power that your mind has, not only over your physical reality, but also your body, in regards to controlling the internal organs as well as the external reality, right? So I just kind of experienced this, what we call in my community, my spiritual community. And when I say spiritual, I don't mean like a religion. This isn't a religion. This is just a kind of level of understanding of how things work in reality. My mind kind of opened. And instead of sitting in those limiting beliefs in this little box, like Sarah was talking about, right? Everything, it was like I was a 3-year-old all over again. Everything was just, well, what if that's real? And what if that's real? And that could be true. And that could be true. And then I just went down this rabbit hole of amazing experiences of different types of trainings. I'm Reiki certified now, which is energy healing, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about energy. to yoga and mindfulness and sound healing, and all of these different aspects of how this stuff comes together, right? The whole spectrum. So when this happened, when I stepped into this kind of like 3-year-old mindset of being excited about the world again and getting out of my box, I started undoing all of those limiting beliefs. And you'll see here, I have quite a few of them listed, from like common to very simple. So religion and politics, right? Most of us are born into a specific political ground, and our parents teach us that, and then we adopt that, and we never even look at the other side of it because we're just like, this is what we believe, and we're like, well, that's it, like, that's solid, point, done, the end, right? So I included in here like how your hair should be brushed or which way the toilet roll goes, and that was for a little bit of humor because I see people argue about that on Facebook all the time. But literally, when I stepped into this space, I started questioning everything. And I've always been a questioner because I've always been an exploratory learner and wanted to know the understanding behind everything, right? But like, even when it comes to these tiny, simple things, instead of just saying, this is what I believe, and it's also okay if you still continue to believe what you believe, but opening your mind to these external thought processes from people living in an outside reality from your own and different conditioned belief systems is really powerful. So when I opened my mind, this is just great for me, right? And the first thing that really woke me up to what I'm about to teach you guys is a book called Buddha's Brain. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I only bought this book because I was in yoga teacher training and it said the word Buddha on it. I'm not even kidding. I was like, okay, well, I'm like in this Buddhist world now, right? And I got to like know all the things Buddha. And Buddha practices love and light, and I want to practice love and light. I was totally wrong about the book, and it literally changed my life. It has nothing to do with Buddha at all. It's all about breaking down the brain from the reptilian brain, our very primary brain, which is like the amygdala, which is fight or flight response, right? All the way up to a higher mental process where we experience emotion. So it kind of takes you through that journey of the brain, and it talks a lot about how specific emotions as humans have different vibrational frequencies. And this is all proven to be true in science, right? But they've also taken it next level, and they look at what this does to your cells as well as your DNA, okay? All right, moving on. Second book that moved my life, changed my life, was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. Actually, both of these books are written by doctors. They have studies as well as published out there knowledge of all of the studies that they've done, right? So if you're science like me, you can totally look this stuff up and check it out. But Joe Dispenza kind of takes it next level, and he actually has people, for instance, with multiple sclerosis that were wheelchair bound, working on quantum healing, which is your next level brain cycle. Your brain has different wavelengths, right? And you have a wake state, you have a state between sleep and wake, you have sleep state, and you have higher states of brain wavelengths. And when you're awake, your brain wavelengths are like 30,000 per blah, blah, blah. But when you're in theta, you're like four revolutions. So there's a very large gap between wake state and theta state, right? Okay. So this book right here took me next level. I was like, he breaks it down. He talks about how it happens. He has the studies. I highly suggest reading it if this is something you're interested in, if you're interested in unwiring everything and manifesting an amazing future. And then from that point forward, I just had this intentional purpose to seek every piece of knowledge I could, whether that be YouTube videos or books or audios or podcasts or seminars or in-person events, anything that had to do with this topic, I became obsessed with. And this is why and how I'm able to know and teach this knowledge. None of this knowledge is mine, guys. This is me just going on a rampage of excitement, like a 3-year-old wanting to understand this universe and how it works, okay? So we're gonna move on. Let's talk about the benefits before we go into the actual details. First of all, this is gonna help you with leadership. Guys, my team is amazing. And when we were in our beginning levels of coaching with all of them, I talked with many of them about mindset, about not just mindset about what their business goals were, but also mindset about self-love and the way that they talk to themselves, writing their goals down, believing in their goals, putting their goals in places where they can see them to manifest their reality, that kind of thing. Like, that's the kind of leader that I am. So this stuff can benefit you in leadership. It can also help you in overcoming fear, clarity of vision when you're creating your visualization. I think many of us have experienced in life lack of clarity. We're like, I'm doing this and I'm taking these steps, but where am I going and why am I going there, right? When you develop this practice of positive mindset and visualization and manifestation, then it helps you fine point that your goals. It helps you fine point that vision. Again, overriding limiting beliefs. Remember, question, why do I brush my hair this way and not that way? You know, all of these things that you have in your life, these patterns. It's all about breaking patterns, guys. If you have these patterns, question your patterns. Where did they come from? Why did I believe this? Should I believe this? What is my original thought and not what my mom said or what my aunt said or what my friend said, right? Developing new skills. That's the best benefit, guys, of opening your mind and understanding this, because then you put your feet in different pools of water and you're like, I can develop this skill and this skill and this skill. I've been a mediocre musician my entire life, but when I started this practice, I've just like gone next level in my music world in a very short period of time. I picked up a freaking Indian flute a couple of weeks ago and figured out I knew how to play it, and I've never played one in my life before. And literally things like that happen in my life all the time because I'm open-minded and I try them, right? Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is important. Many of us, and this is key for me, guys, because many of us repress emotion. And when you repress emotion, then you can't manifest or create from a place of clarity, because there's a lot of resistance that happens there. And this is a continual practice. We'll talk more about emotions in a minute. The next is improved self-confidence. Obviously, that's just going to happen. Manifesting success, obviously. Overcoming illness and disease. I'll talk a little bit about that and how this affects your genetic coding and your DNA and all of that. And then genetic regulation. So we're going to move on. All right. Quantum sounds like a big fancy word. It is a big fancy word. And if you Google it, your brain might hurt. So I'm just going to try to make this understandable for you guys. But quantum is the future of science. Quantum mixes science and spirituality. It combines the two. For instance, I'll give you an example. Prayer is a very powerful tool. The reason prayer is a very powerful tool is because multiple people are putting their mind space, their energy, their frequency on one fine point. And when we co-create, and we put our minds on one fine point, the universe moves much faster in delivering that. Universe, God, you can use interchangeable terms. To me, it's universe, God, all of it, right? It's all of the beautiful, amazing things. But if whatever your belief system is, God is the most common term. But that's how it works. And that's what God desires for us to do, right? He desires for us to co-create success, to co-create beauty, to co-create healing, to co-create miracles. That's what we're here for. So quantum is the term used to describe alternate timelines in which all possible outcomes for any event take place. So each quantum reality is its own separate parallel universe. And this sounds like a bunch of blah, 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 blah. So what that means is you have many different possible reality outcomes coming from your mind. So say you're sitting here and you have a health goal or a wellness goal or a business goal or whatever goal. If your mind, like it is when you're praying for someone that you love very much that's dying in that state of just love and purity, if your mind is here creating that same level of space for what your goal is, then it's that much more powerful, and that is the reality you're going to create. That is the possible outcome that you are going to navigate to in your reality, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about emotion. Emotion is energy in motion, and I love this term. I use it all the time because it makes so much sense, and when I break it down in the next slide, you'll see why. So every emotion has a vibrational frequency, right? And we're going to talk about that. I'll break that down in a second. But you can see here on the emotional guidance scale and also in these body scans that when you're experiencing certain emotions, your body lights up in a different way. And this is proof right here in these body scans that there's a frequency happening, because heat, right? Heat is a frequency. I don't know, take yourself back all the way to middle school, remember? Or maybe it was elementary school and you're sitting in your desk and your teacher's like, hey, your desk is made of kinetic energy. And you're like, what? And you're looking at this desk and it looks like it's sitting still and nothing's happening, but really there's all these atoms making all this heat, right? And it's just so cool and you're geeking out. Same thing about the body, guys. The body, the emotions create a specific frequency and they're all associated with a different wavelength. And there's high vibrational emotions, which are all the good emotions, which are love, gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, joy. There's low vibrational emotions, which are anger, hatred, judgment, anxiety, non-forgiveness, jealousy. I mean, your brain's probably going right now, okay, I can differentiate the two. Which one's better? Obviously, high vibration. And if you look here and you compare love and depression, you can see the pure vibration here in love. This body is on fire, and the depression, it's cool. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of energy going on there. There's not a lot of heat going on there, right? So I'm going to break it down for you guys. Usually when I teach this part of it, I have a little whiteboard and I draw it all out. I'm a very kinesthetic learner. I like to be active, but that's not really possible for this. So I want you to look at the left side of the slide first, okay? On the top left right here, this is an atom right here, okay? And you remember in science, I don't know what grade, we have like a nucleus and then we have like these little rings and all these little electrons are like perfectly placed on the rings. That's not at all how an atom actually works. It looks more like this. All these electrons are just bouncing off of each other and creating all of this heat. So an atom, if you break it down, the nucleus is 1% mass and 99% of the rest of the atom is composed of pure energy, pure vibration. They're interchangeable words. Now, if you jump that to the scale of the human body, looking at this picture right here, the ratio does not change. We are still 99% energy and 1% mass because we are primarily atoms. We're just one big ball of connected atoms, right? So just because we focus on our sensations, which is our sight, our smell, our touch, our taste, and our hearing, we think that the 1% is what we should focus on, and that's not at all true. We have a 99% aspect of ourself that we're completely not even aware of and we're avoiding, right? Because we're so primarily focused on our senses, on our 1% senses. So let's talk a little bit about emotions in the brain now, okay? So I'm trying to move my little chat over because it's kind of covering everything up, but nothing's happening. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So in our brain, when you experience a specific emotion, your brain releases what's called a neuropeptide. And this is a protein, and these are associated with specific hormones. I know that most of you mamas know what oxytocin is. You know, when you're in love with your baby and your baby's breastfeeding, oxytocin is released from the brain, and your cells receive the oxytocin. Same thing with anger, hatred, ugliness. And guys, when I say anger, hatred, ugliness, non-forgiveness, I'm not talking about just people in your external reality. I'm talking about to yourself primarily. Definitely people in your external reality too, because, you know, you create your reality, but you also, all of this you should be applying to yourself, okay? So say you're experiencing love and you release a neuropeptide, okay? This neuropeptide travels through your body to your cell right here. And you see these little like googly looking things on the outside of the cell? These are called receptors. So the external aspect of your cell has like these little like prongs that grab on to what your brain releases. So your emotion actually alters the structure and cellular DNA of your cell itself. So say you live in resentment, anger, bitterness, often those peptides that are released from your brain are altering the structure of your cell, and you're sending your entire body into that lower vibrational frequency. Remember the picture from before that depression, the body was very blue. There wasn't very much energy happening there, right? So this is why it's really important to practice positive mindset, positive emotions. Now, let's go a little bit deeper, okay? When you start to release these peptides, nights and you start to alter your cellular structure and your body sits in this state for a long period of time, whether it's depression or anxiety or hatred or anger or whatever it is, your DNA has thousands of codes, and not all of your codes are always in full expression, right? There's specific things in our life that either upregulate or downregulate one of these codings in our DNA. This is why sometimes you can have identical twins and one of them can have Parkinson's and the other one does not have Parkinson's. And they've done studies on this and they realize that it's the mental practice of the identical twin that does not have a positive mindset. And this is why in the DNA that the other identical twin also had upregulated and he ended up with Parkinson's disease. So you can look into this after. I can even post that study. It's just all mind-blowing to me. But anyway, your emotions, your mindset not only affects your cellular structure, but it also affects your genetic coding, your DNA expression. So if you're in a high vibrational emotion consistently, then you're upregulating all of the good genes in your DNA. And if you're in a low vibration consistently, then you're you're upregulating the bad genes in your DNA, right? Okay? Let me know if I'm losing y'all. I can't watch the comments because I'm going to get totally distracted, but I hope I'm breaking it down for it to make sense. But this is why scientifically a positive mindset is key, not only to your business success, but also your personal health. Whether it's product success, whether it's setting a goal to run, like Sarah said, I hate cardio. If you're creating that in your mind, then you're always going to hate cardio. If you're not a morning person, then you're never going to get up and do a 5 a.m. visualization and create your badass reality that you want, right? Like it's all related, guys, and there's science backing all of it. So let's talk about tips to alter your conscious creation. First of all, hello, it's a process. We can't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I just identified every limiting belief I have, and guess what? Now that I've identified it, it's gone. No, that's a trap. You can't do that. You have to be your own evaluator. You have to be the person that's actually looking at your thoughts. You have to be your observer. I can't get in your brain and listen to your thoughts. I can't fix that for you. That's your job. And that's my job. And I'm going to tell you, I've been doing this for 3 years. It's not an easy job because it brings up a lot of really uncomfortable things about yourself. And ego likes to get in the way and you just kind of want to hide from it. But I can tell you, if you stop hiding from it and you put your ego aside and you start really evaluating your thoughts and realizing you're the only thing that's in your way, it's going to pay off later, right? This is huge, huge, huge to me, guys. Get rid of the negative external exposures. When you are starting a practice like this of stepping into yourself, right? Learning yourself, unwiring all these limiting beliefs and these negative thoughts. Everything external is kind of like if you get like LASIK surgery and you walk outside and the sun shines right in your eyes, right? You're very raw during this time when you're on this self-exploratory stage. And you have to be the person to give you everything that you need. So when you have the news coming on talking about murder and rape and bad weather and thousands of people dying and school shootings and all of this stuff, it's so hard to stay focused in your center of what you're creating. And if you bring your awareness to that stuff on the news, then you're now co-creating. Just like you co-create in prayer to heal someone, you co-create to create more school shootings and more deaths and more natural disasters if everybody's mind is brought to that same thing, right? The news is the worst. I have not watched the news in 3 years. I have no desire to ever watch it again. If something important is happening, I'm going to see it on Facebook. I have Facebook on here, and Facebook's not all bad. I've intentionally created multiple Facebook friends lists, and the one that I see primarily is honestly my Plexus people because we're very positive people. And many people in my yoga community as well. They're on that friends list. But the negative people, they're either deleted or they are in a whole nother list. Music is the fundamental It's the universal language, guys. It's the very first thing we experience. It's our mother's heartbeat. It's rhythm. Music can be extremely healing for us. There's lots of sound healing modalities out there, actually, but it can also do the inverse when you are listening to something that is not going to put you in a good vibration. So if you're depressed, girls, you know this, you go listen to all that sad, wham music and keep yourself in that low vibration. No. You have to actually make the choice to put on some stuff that's going to get you up. So avoid negative music that's going to keep you in that space or even put you in that space. And then increase positive external exposures. Anything that's good for you on the outside, whether that's great people on Facebook or messaging friends that you love or going to a church community gathering, whatever it is that lifts you up, do that. Choose that. Don't choose to binge watch Netflix of Spartans murdering each other. That's not going to get you in a good mind space. Remember, you're a little 3-year-old right now, and you're stepping into this amazement of the world, and you're very vulnerable, and you don't want to expose yourself to anything that's not going to be in a higher vibration. I also suggest meditation daily. This is not just because I'm a yoga teacher. Meditation puts your mind in that higher level of consciousness that I was talking to you guys about, and that is the highest space of creating your reality. That's the best way to create your reality because it gives your mind space to create, right? The thing that I suggest to people when they're starting a meditative practice, because I remember when I started mine, I was like closing my eyes and breathing and like kind of peeping my eyes open, like, what are these people doing? I can't do this. What is meditation? This is so weird. No, I get it. Do guided meditations. They're on YouTube. All you have to do is go to YouTube and type in guided meditation for self-love, guided meditation for healing, guided meditation for abundance, for business success. There's thousands of them. Choose meditations that fit your time frame. So say you have 5 minutes. That's enough. 3 to 5 minutes a day to start is enough to get yourself in the practice of creating that space in your mind and then increase from there. Yoga Nidra is something I highly suggest because it walks you through your body points to where you're still thinking, so your brain's not so crazy, but it finites your thinking to specific body areas. It walks you through, and you can actually feel your energy moving and transferring from body part to body part. This is the best way to get into a relaxation and meditative mindset. Visualization is what I taught the CEOs about. Visualization is closing your eyes and picturing what you want, whether that's your health goal, business goal, self-love, whatever it is, and you see yourself in that space, but you also have to marry the emotion to the actual physical reality of it. Your brain, guys, here's something real cool, sciencey too. Your brain can't differentiate thought reality from conscious reality, from physical reality. So and this is case in point with anxiety, right? When you are anxious, you're fearing a future event that has not happened. You don't know if that event's going to happen, but your physical body is actually experiencing the emotion, same thing with PTSD, as if it's actually happening, right? So visualization, when you want to do it in the morning, and that's the best time to do it because you're coming out of that higher brain wavelength state. You want to do it in the morning, and you want to marry the emotion. Just like you marry emotion very easily to your anxiety and your fear, you want to marry that same level of emotion in a high vibration of love, success, and gratitude to what your goals are and where you're going. And then, like I said in the very beginning, you have to be your own monitor, right? You have to monitor your thoughts. I had a counselor when I was first found out about some life stuff before I left my husband. And she gave me this tool, guys, and I teach this to people all the time. It's so simple, but it was such a light bulb moment for me. Monitor your negative fear thoughts, right? And when these thoughts come up, you can do one of two things. You can close your eyes and visualize a stop sign and literally stop yourself in the track of those thoughts, or you can verbalize and put your hand up and say out loud, stop, and rewire that thought immediately. I do this on a daily basis, probably 300 times a day. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and I started thinking about one of my friends that I love so much, and I was like, oh man, maybe she doesn't like me. Maybe she hates me. And I was like, stop. You know, I had to stop myself. And then I had to affirm, no, she's one of my best friends. We love each other. Everything's great. I had to rewire that, right? And this happens all the time. It's a very consistent practice, and you have to be the monitor. You have to put that stop sign up over and over and over and over. Another thing is positive affirmations. I'm a nutcase about positive affirmations. Louise Hay is a very good resource. She has stuff on YouTube that you can actually just look up Louise Hay affirmations, and she plays them out. She says them over and over and over again. I play them on YouTube when I sleep over and over again, whether it's abundance or prosperity or self-love. They're constantly playing in my ears. Sometimes when I'm working, I'll have one earbud in and I'm listening to it consistently over and over and over again. Positive affirmations are huge. And what I do is I'll listen to different teachers speak affirmations, and whichever ones resonate with me, I'll write them on a note card and I'll pin them on my board. And at one point I had like 76 affirmations pinned on my board. So think about that. Look that up. Start looking into positive affirmations. Write down your goals. Writing down your goals is a true solidifier from your subconscious to your physical reality. When you marry the two, your goals always come true. It doesn't matter what your goals are. I write all of my goals down, and I remember when I first started building my entrepreneurial business, Amy, my upline, told me to write my goals down. I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't really put much thought into it. And then finally, like 3 months later, I actually physically wrote my goal down, and it came true a week later. And I was like, maybe there's something to this. So I've been writing them down ever since. You can ask Sarah. I actually sent her a picture of my goals the other day. And then this is huge too for me, guys. I don't know if you're familiar with Brené Brown. She talks a lot about healing from shame. She's one of my favorite authors. I teach a lot of her stuff too. Like I said, none of this stuff is mine. I've just taken it from different experts in different fields of different realities. And I highly suggest that you check her out if you have any sort of healing to do as far as emotions go. And I'm going to be honest, everyone does. So you want a note card. You want to get a note card. And you want to write down the people in your awareness that you trust the most, that you know you could tell them anything and they're not going to judge you and they're not going to tell you how to fix your life. They're just going to say, you know what? I experienced this and I've been there and that happened and it really freaking blew. And let me tell you about how I felt about myself. Empathy is such a powerful tool. And I included this because when you go into these mind spaces of negativity, sometimes it's in so much momentum that you just can't climb out of it alone. You have to have someone in your external reality say, wake up, you're awesome. Yeah, I've been there. I messed up too. Look at me now, and I'm still breathing, I'm still living. I've had so many people show up for me and do this for me, and this is why I say when you start this practice, you're very vulnerable and you need those people on your note card. Make sure you choose wisely and you only reach out to the people for the specific scenario that you're dealing with that you know they can provide empathy for that. For instance, if I was dealing with a single mom thing that was breaking my heart, I wouldn't reach out to someone that's not a single mom because they can't sit in that same level of empathy with me, right? You want to find someone that can sit in that pool with you and cry with you and then lift you back up and say, guess what? I got up, you can too. This is important too, guys. You are the sum total of the 5 closest people to you. And if they're negative, can them. If you have goals, if you want to get where you want to go, the most important thing is you. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be bitchy, but I have dropped a lot of people that were not good for me. They were not good for me, and I still continue to do so. And I've gained a lot of people that are amazing for me. You need to really look closely at the people around you. Sometimes it's your family members, and it's really hard to set those boundaries. But if you want to create a positive reality and a positive mindset, that includes getting rid of everything negative, even if that's a family member or a best friend. So really start to evaluate that stuff, okay? I included this slide because there are so many successful people that practice positive mindset, visualization, manifestation. It's the primary in what they do to reach their goals. Oprah is big with this, guys. Her and Deepak Chopra actually do weekly meditations now, I think, together. But these people have had next level success, and they utilize manifestation, positive thinking, positive thought processes often. And they even have mentors and coaches in their life that teach them that. I probably have about 7 mentors and coaches that help me on this journey of manifestation, creation, and all of that. So I just wanted to show you guys that this isn't just some like Mel Robbins says, woo woo, hippy dippy thing. This is science. This is real. Your brain is really powerful. You're the creator of your reality. You own your story. And if you choose to do this, you will create your best possible outcome. Last month, guys, my team in history had the best month we've ever had. So the month before, in total, in my giant team that I have now, we recruited 4 ambassadors. Just 4. Last month, we recruited 86 and had 11 iPads earned on my team. That just goes to show you what I had to do to get out of my own negative mind space, know I was in my way, have some hard conversations with my upline leaders and be very vulnerable with them and tell them, like, look, I'm owning my stuff. I need your help. And also, this is what I need from you. And then putting myself back in a good space to rock and roll, show up for my team, love myself, and love them. Actually, Sarah asked me to do this masterclass last Monday, and I told her, I was like, honestly, I would love to, but I need to prioritize my self-love because I have a lot of things going on in my life, and I need to get to yoga that night. I had to honor myself. Heck yeah, I wanted to get on and help teach this to you guys. I'm super passionate about this, but I had to make the choice to stay in my high vibration and know that this would come later. And that's why I'm here now, right? So now I have the book recommendations. These are really great for either understanding positive mindset and creating your reality, or understanding the science behind it. So I've talked about Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. Buddha's brain talks about the higher vibrational frequencies, and like I said, gives you that continuum of reptilian brain to higher mental process. The Seed of the Soul is just absolutely amazing, guys. Everybody has to read this book. I don't know if y'all follow me on Facebook, but I use the word Earth School a lot. I think that's where I got that book, because Earth School is literally Earth School, where it's a learning process. We never have it figured out. There's no diploma, right? We're learning every day. And then The Secret is probably the best way to start for anyone that's just starting to develop this practice and this understanding. It's very, very elemental. There's a lot of great people in there that practice this. There's a lot of great quotes. It's a super simple read. You could probably do it in 3 hours if you just sit down and read it, even if you're a slow reader. But yeah, these were the recommendations that I had for you guys. So I'm going to stop sharing. So to finish up, guys, like I said, if everything sounded just like brain fried, what is this crazy girl talking about? Totally understandable. Or if you're looking at me like I'm a cuckoo, also cool. I still love you, but you're still welcome to reach out to me. I know there's been quite a few leaders on Sarah's team actually that have probably thought I was cuckoo, but then eventually reached out to me and they're like, okay, what is the stuff that you got, girl? Give me some of this juju. Teach this to me, you know? So now or never, now or later, whenever, I'm here. I teach this often to people, and I'm here to continue to do that because my goal is for everyone to have this secret knowledge and know that you are the creator of your reality and you have so much power. You just don't even know it. So yeah, I think that's it. Sarah, do you want to say something?
Yes, thank you so much, Marion. I mean, that was absolutely, it's always so fascinating to me because I know the power of positive thinking, and I understand, I've known from a very early age the visualization just from being in sports and learning that from different coaches along the way. Even in business school, they talk about, you know, what you think about comes about, and everything, but understanding the scientific background in it is not something I've ever really sat down and sought out or learned or been taught in any of the you know, trainings that I've been to or anything like that. It's always about, okay, how can you embark on this journey of positive thinking? And I think for all of us, no matter where you're at in life, this is a really, really big key to happiness in life and to fulfillment and self-love and breaking free of burdens, like perceived burdens that we all have. And so whether you're here to build a business, whether you're here to lose some weight, heal yourself, mind, body, spirit, or you're just sitting on the sidelines, you're like, I don't know why I'm here, but you want to be a better human and you want to raise good humans. These are all things, and I think for me it's critical to help pass down to my children as well, the power of positive thinking, the affirmations, the self-love, all of it. So we're so appreciative of you, because I think it transcends way beyond what we're doing here in this team page. Our goal always as leaders on this page is to help everybody become a better version of themselves, whether that's with Plexus, with our products, or without. We want you guys to leave here feeling good about yourself and having the tools to do big things in your life. So that's all we have for tonight, but I thank you so much, Marion. I appreciate it. Another book recommendation that Amy had mentioned and I love as well is Switch On Your Brain. So you guys can check that one out too if you're looking for a whole bunch of books on the topic. But thank you so much for your time, Marion. I so appreciate it because I know it's very valuable. Thank you for pouring into us, putting that together and training us. We're so appreciative. All right, guys, good night. Happy Monday.
Bye, guys.